I've started a small series on lost, panicking, and all of that while you're in the Maine woods. I don't know where we're gonna go with it. Don't know how long it's gonna be. I just know I ran out of room on video number 1. So that automatically means that we'll make a small series out of it. And I believe it's an important series because, number one, you got a lot of people out there, a lot of gadgets, lots of everything now. But what happens when the gadgets aren't with you, or what happens when you're all on your own? You know, well, here we go. Good morning. My name is Tom. I come to you from the great state of Maine. Welcome to the Beaver Creek Outpost. I'm in here deer hunting. I got started a few minutes ago. I'm back here having coffee, waiting. I'm gonna head out and I'm gonna head back out here in about 20 minutes or so. Setting the tree stand until dark. I mean, yeah, till dark. Sun's out. It's cold, but the sun's out. But anyways, we started a series on being lost in the Maine woods and panicking. And you know, you can go back, you can catch all the details there in video number 1. But what happened after you panicked? You know, the key here is don't panic. Don't panic. When you panic, you are your worst enemy. Once you finally realize that, hey, I am lost, hey, I'm twisted, hey, it's almost dark, hey, I have no idea where I'm at, period. And don't tell me that you're gonna rely on electronics in the Maine woods. That might be a good plan, but a good plan ain't no good. You better know how to operate a compass. You better at least know the area that you're in so that you have a ballpark idea of where you've landed in the state of Maine. Nothing worse is for you to go on a hunting trip with one of your buddies and be the passenger that has no idea where he's at. Because if you get separated from your buddy that knows the area, you're in big trouble. So at least look at a map before he cuts you loose up here in the big woods. You know, I don't care if it's one of the atlases, if it's the big blue atlas that you probably shouldn't be without anyways. If you don't own one of those, you better get one. Because then you can at least have a ballpark idea of where you are before they throw you in the woods. So let's add on to video number 1. You finally have figured out that you are lost and you're in trouble. A lot of people have died from that situation right there. Depending on your piece of woods and depending on where you're at, you're in big trouble. The state of Maine is big. Right now, this time of year, the woods are cold. Man, there's been people die of hypothermia long before the temperatures get cold. So that's number 1 right there. But don't panic. Don't panic. at that point that you finally have figured out that you are lost, take 5 minutes, sit down on a stump or on a log or on a rock. If you got a thermos of coffee with you, have yourself a cup of coffee, calm yourself down, so you're lost. You're lost. No big deal. I believe if there's hunters out there that say they've never been lost, two things are going on. They're lying to you, period. And number two, they've been hunting backyard house lots for hunting their entire lives. Because if you come up here and you hunt the big woods, we're not talking little woods, we're talking the big woods. And the big woods can be anywhere in the state of Maine. Once you get off southern Maine, my goodness, you can get in central Maine and be hunting on thousands of acres of property with no houses around for 60 miles, 30 miles, 40 miles. Well, you get lost out in a 40-mile patch of woods. You come back out, you tell me how big 40 miles are. We're fortunate. We have a warden service that's second to none as far as finding you. So the rule of thumb is if you've got to keep yourself alive for 72 hours. Generally, they can find you within 72 hours, unless you have screwed up so badly that even with all their tricks and dogs and machinery, can't find you. So don't panic. All that does is get you further and further and further and deeper into trouble. So you sat down on the log, you sat down on a stump, you've had yourself a sip of coffee, whatever. Take note of what you have with you. Got any snacks in your pocket? You know, check it out. Don't sit there and eat all your snacks in one setting. You might want one tomorrow, because good chance you're going to be there for 72 hours. Unless you can figure your way out. You know, like I started out this little tiny pint-sized series, but I was twisted. Yeah, I've been twisted many times over my life. The difference between being twisted and lost. Twisted means you just kind of figure out which way is out. And when you chasing beagles for rabbits, rabbits circle all day long. So you're circling all day long. So taking a compass reading and trying to keep up that way is kind of impossible. So what you kind of do when you're in that situation, pick a, number one, like I said earlier, get yourself a map, look it over. What we did was we kind of figure out east, west, north, south, all of that stuff, and then pick areas like a snowmobile trail, run right straight through it. So no matter where you come back out, you're going to come back out to that snowmobile trail somewhere, somehow. Deer hunting's a little different. You're going into the woods, you're tracking a deer. Same thing there. If you're tracking the deer, you could go 2-3 miles before noontime, just keeping one foot in front of the other. And now you still got to figure your way out of here. It's a little different when you track him in, you follow in a deer. Now all of a sudden, you say, I gotta go back to the road. I don't really want to go the way I came. He went through every brush pile that there was, every blowdown that there was, that deer come back through. So either pick up your old tracks, follow them back to the truck, and hopefully you haven't lost yourself out in that snow, because that happens too. But if you're gonna need to spend the night, say it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and you don't have an iota of where you are at, now's a pretty good time to get up off that rock, get up off that rock and make a plan. Stay away from the idea of building shelters that you watched on YouTube, that you've watched. That's a good way to die. If you start making your life's survival that night by everything that you've learned on YouTube from making shelters, then in my opinion you're better off to pull out a piece of paper, a pen, and write a note to all of your loved ones back at home, telling them how sorry you was for screwing up today, but I don't believe I'm making it out of here. I can't tell you enough. Don't waste your time and energy on building a shelter by YouTube standards. They won't keep you warm. They won't keep you dry. They will do everything possible to make your survival unattainable that night. Period. Could not say it loud enough or holler it loud enough from the tallest mountain in the state of Maine. Do not build a shelter in the state of Maine that's going to carry you the night if you think that's your only life survival trick. It's not going to happen. Take that same amount of energy that you're going to put into that crappy shelter that some YouTube guy told you that this is a survival trick, that if you don't know how to do it, you're not going to make it. Take that same amount of energy that's going into building that crappy shelter and go get some firewood. Period. Go get some firewood. Spend 2 hours gathering as much firewood as you can gather. And if you still got some strength left in you, go get some more. Go get some more strength. And here's the other. And you ain't ever seen this in a video on YouTube unless you've watched my channel. Go out, especially here in the state of Maine. We have blowdowns everywhere. A blowdown is a fir tree that has fallen on the ground. It could be a pine tree that's 2 feet across that's fallen on the ground. Make yourself a circle around where you're lost. I'm lost. Well, you kind of got to know what's in your pockets. You got to know what's in. Let's see what time it is. You got to know what's in your pockets for gear, but you also got to know what's around you. Is there a brook nearby? Is there a pond nearby? Is there blowdowns nearby? So make yourself a small circle around your little new home and find something that's going to protect you. If you find a blowdown, you'd all of a sudden have got all the firewood that you're probably going to need for the night. Because I very rarely find one blowdown. It's usually 2 or 3 blowdowns. And if it's a big pine tree, and you get up alongside of that pine tree, and you build a fire 2 feet, 3 feet away from that pine tree, all that heat from that fire is going to, if there's snow there, it's going to melt it, because you've created a little cubby right there behind that pine tree that's laying there on the ground. You're gonna create a nice little warm spot right there. If you want to, grab some fir boughs, get those down on the ground, make yourself a little nest, but don't spend any more than 5 minutes doing that. You go find yourself a fir tree, trim it down, trim all the limbs off it, trim it down, lay that down on the ground so you've got something comfortable to lay on, and then put your energy into gathering firewood. And when you think you've got enough firewood, cut twice as much more. Period. It takes a lot of firewood to last the night. Now, in your pack, if you haven't already, and I've done a video on this, in your pack, go to Lowe's or go to Home Depot. They sell a survival blanket. It cost about $15. It's about 8 feet by 8 feet. Silver on one side, fluorescent orange on the other side. Now you've got a piece of orange that's 8 feet by 8 feet for the game warden service to spot from the air in a plane, a helicopter, or whatever. It's fluorescent orange. Another hunter coming through, he spots that off the side of the hill. Whatever. But this is a reflector blanket. It's not that dollar piece of crap that you buy at the dollar store when you're trying to follow a YouTuber that wouldn't find himself out of a wet paper bag with a sharp razor knife, telling you to go to the dollar store and build yourself a survival kit for less than $20. You're telling me your life is worth less than $20. Well, we've come to the end of this video. The end of this particular one. And I've still got more to say on this topic. So it looks like we're going to have round number 3. Looks like we're going to make a third video for this series. Because now we've got you down by the blowdown. We've got you with a survival blanket. And you can't believe how good that survival blanket is. That survival blanket will be the best $15 you ever spent in your life. You build an A-frame. 3 sticks, that's it. 2 sticks this way, 1 stick down the back so that it'll hold it out, and you've created a pocket. And you do all of that on the back side of this pine tree that has fallen on the ground. So come back to the next part of this series, and we'll make it a playlist, and the playlist will be I'm lost and panicking or something like that. I'll put that in there. But now that you've got that real survival blanket, and you really know how to set it up, you don't wrap it around yourself unless you want to die. If you wrap it around yourself, you're going to reflect heat off your body. Oh my God, oh no. That's not going to work either. A reflector blanket. Listen to what it says. Reflector. I got to go. This video is up to 15 minutes, and you guys pull a plug at 15 minutes and beat feet because you got the imagination of a gopher. Alrighty. You have a great week, and I'll see you next week. We'll put this into video number 3.